Hi, everybody.
Hi everyone.
Welcome back to the studio.
Can you believe that it's only fall?
Wow, summer went by so fast.
It doesn't feel like there's a summer. It just feels like it's getting hot and then getting cold.
Yeah, life
There's no
just
break.
doesn't stand still, does it?
Yeah. Anyway, today we'd like to start it with a new unit, and it's still life. It's one of my
Still life.
favorite subjects. Yeah.
Why do you like still life?
Well, I think still life it helped me to slow down. Yeah.
Okay.
So what is a still life?
Well, I think still life is when life is still, or it just stops, and usually it's inanimate objects, paintings of inanimate objects that are arranged in a certain way.
Right, right. So still life, it could be the object, and sometimes it could be the animal is dead, right? So that it could be in a still life
That
as
would be
well.
still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do we do still life?
At the studio, why do we practice still life?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's so you can learn the basics, it seems. So you're going to learn about shape and color and value and arranging things in a way that's pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, and I think because it's so still, that it's not moving and it's not changing, it's give us a very good chance to study a little bit, taking a little bit longer time to measurement and then to check the angle. Especially when we do the landscape, we always dealing with lighting. It's going to change, or person is going to be moving. So I think still life is a perfect subject for us to start it in the beginning of the year, to get that fundamental drawing skill and concept set. So in this unit, we also going to learn about measurement. We also going to learn about blocking, and all this different concept will be started in still life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my understanding is that still life has been around for a very long time
Right.
and that it started in ancient Egypt.
Well, yes. I feel that we are living in such a material world. There's a lot of material that we shopping. We buy things, the food that we eat, the clothes that we wear. Everything is all about material. But are we really paying attention to what we buy? How long do we really appreciate even just a bottle? Is someone like well designed it, the material? Do we really pay attention with the object that we use every day?
Yeah, there's that old saying, stop and smell the roses. You need to actually enjoy what you have.
Right, right, to appreciate that as well.
Okay. Well, I think that makes sense because the Egyptians, they would use still life. They were the first ones to use it about 15 BC, 15,000, 15th century BC. And they would paint paintings of what people had possessed or gathered throughout their life to tell who they were.
Right, right.
And then the Greeks, they also did it. And they would use it to, again, tell about what their life was about in the ocean or traveling or what their day-to-day activities were.
Right. We also know that one of the fresco painting that found near the Rome is called Pompeii, and in Pompeii is a place that people gather, and they are there to sell goods and then to buy goods, and so the city do want to make some advertising, and so they did this fresco. Fresco is a painting that is done in a plaster and usually is on the wall. So in here you can see the bowl of fruit. Is very very tasty, very very well picked. For you to try it, and you can see also that it look like a shell. Shell in that time is hard to get, so it's very pricey as well. Very precious thing. And you can see another painting that you also done. It has a a water picture, right? And it has a bread that is already baked, and you can see that the bird is always there.
Mm. Yeah,
So
I see that.
yeah, it's not just the man-made, but the nature is also including in there.
Interesting.
Yeah, in the artists later on that using this as their inspiration to develop a painting that is basic on the story, or you can say the idea. You can see on this one here, instead of bird, there's a fish, right, on the painting. And again, there is a onion, almost like an onion was kind of on the edge of the table. As you can see here, the plate was on the table as well.
So you talked a little bit about materialism and how things that people possess. So you think still life has changed over time? Because it seems like maybe in Pompeii it was almost like an advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, they use those same ideas to show who they were and what they had again accumulated in life.
Right, yeah, and still life, it become a symbol as well. You can see some of the symbol, or like some of the object in the painting, it does has a meaning on beneath it too. For example, like the light, it also represent the light of Christ, and the fruits here, you can see it's being cut in half into the four, and it meaning that the life in here is it's very temporary. You know that when the life being the fruit being cut in half is going to be very quickly going to be rotten, and it's also symbolize the mortality of this life.
So still life also tells quite a story.
Yes,
So
definitely.
I found a quote that I really like by Aristotle, and it says the aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. So kind of like how these tell a story about basic life, even though it's a fruit or a vegetable or something.
Right. And we're going to spend another video time to talk more about the symbol in the still life. But today, we'd like to talk about still life can tell a story.
Okay. So for me, anciently they used words or things that had very symbolic or representation that had meaning, maybe only to that person. So for my still life, Suchi asked me if I would go walk around the studio and find 3 objects that represent me. So growing up, I always liked to be very active. And now my profession is I'm a chiropractor, and so I deal with motion and the physical body. So I would pick this figurine to be in my still life. And then so that I had some type of variety, I would pick something that's a little bit different. Again, growing up, I grew up on a farm, and so we milked into a bucket, kind of like this. But it also helps me to remember that life can either be half full or half empty, and that the bucket always needs to be filled. So we have work to do, and there's improvement that can always be made. And then lastly, I chose a ball to represent the world and our life here, that it never ends. So once you get to one point, things can always change. So no matter how good or how bad things are, things can change, so that we can always look forward to something better in the future.
Oh, wow, that
And
was
then
really good.
I also had one more, just my friend, and just the spine, and to me it represents life, because when a person dies, it's because their brain has stopped activity, and the brain sends all this activity or this life down through the spine, through the spinal cord and through the spinal column. So this also represents life or light to me. So that would be my story.
Okay.
I would have 4 objects, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Good. Well, thank you for sharing that. I also bring my object from home and I like to share with you. And I bring my collection. I know some of you guys are going to be very excited about this one. I collect stuffed animal. Yeah. My granddaughter really liked those stuffed animals, so I just kind of collected with her.
It's actually Suchi that likes them.
So here's a bunny. Okay, and the reason I bring those collection with me is because that it reminds me of being child again. And this is my puppet.
Do you have a favorite, Miss Suchi?
Oh, it's hard. If I say who is my favorite, their feeling might be hurt.
That's true.
Yeah. But this is one of the cute one, and his name is Jimmy, and Jimmy can talk. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi. So I feel like puppet is the one way to get attention for the kids, and I work with the kids most of my life. Since very young, I babysit my cousins, and so I am very drawn to the kids. I like to play with them, but I also like to teach them, and that is my job right now, and big part of my life. So the puppet is remind me of the child, but also remind me or like symbolize that I use the puppet to deliver my message, that it will be easier for the student to understand or pay attention to me. It's the same thing as when I do the painting. My artwork is expressing part of my voice through the canvas, and it somehow people understand that better. So I brought this puppet.
Thank you.
For you. You guys can come and play.
Anything else? in your
Anything
collection?
else? I also bring the flashlight, and light is very important as well. Without light, that we won't be able to see things. So I always wanted to carry the light to the world or to the people around me, to remind them that there is a light in every situation, even though sometimes we might facing some darkness or some challenge in our life. But having a light, I don't think I'm the light, but I can carry the light. And so that was important too. So I bring the flashlight to represent that. I also asked God to bring me the olive tree, and olive tree is one of my favorite tree, and I love nature. I spend a lot of time in a garden because
She does.
I feel the nature is part of the way for me to be close to my soul. And so one of my still life is going to be in nature, and the olive leaf in Greek is also represent peace, and in the Bible it also talk about vineyard, that it grow olive. Do you know that for us to have the olive oil, you need to press it, so it represents that we are in life that need to have those challenges to press out, to have those good oil.
To
that
get
comes
something
out.
yummy.
Yes, to be
Nice.
something that is useful. And I also bring the not olive tree, the fig tree is also represent the second coming of the Christ, meaning that we are living in this very challenging time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, one of the things we want each of you to do is to find 3 objects that tell about you so that you could tell a story. So remember, these people created a still life of bread or fruit that died within a few minutes. But 2,000, 3,000 years later, we can still look at their painting and we can enjoy that same fruit and bread. So the Greek have a saying that say, life is short, art lasts forever. So let's see what your art can tell people about you.
Yeah, so we would like you to bring 3 objects to the studio next time, and then you can tell us a story about you but also those people that are doing Zoom classes with me, you can also bring the 3 objects, then we can have a sharing time that talk about you through those still life. I hope that you understand still life. After this union, we learn about how to draw it, but how to understand the importance of the everyday object.
Thank you. We'll see you guys in class. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.